All right, guys, so today we're talking about automating our GoHighLevel agency clients' Google local service area leads. If you want to make sure your agency clients stick with you for the long haul and keep paying you month after month, this GoHighLevel AI agent will make sure their Google LSA ads continue to rank with lower pricing. If you didn't know, one of the biggest key metrics that Google looks at when determining how to rank your client's ad performance and pricing is how many leads try to call them from an ad, but the call gets missed. In fact, if you look here, this is literally the top ranking factor of whether or not your ads will even get shown. Right here, number one, responsiveness to leads. Google heavily weighs how quickly and consistently you answer calls, and failing to pick up calls or not replying to messages within 24 hours or much faster will significantly drop your ranking. And they literally tell you here to use a dedicated receptionist or 24/7 answering service, as even one or two missed calls can cause your ads to stop appearing. This is because Google doesn't care how much money you say you're willing to spend on ads. Ad performance is based on a trust algorithm that prioritizes user experience over simply having the highest bid. So even if you tell Google, hey, I'm willing to spend $1,000 a day on ads, if you don't have high-level automation set up in the background to answer and respond to leads that come in, they're not going to show the ads, and your client's not going to get new customers, and you're going to get fired. So in this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to set up an AI-powered receptionist that's trained on your customer's business that will answer any calls they miss. Plus, I'm going to give you my entire prompt library for nearly every local home service style business. We're going to use this live right now during the setup so you can see exactly how to implement it. And on top of that, this gives you another revenue stream that you can charge a couple hundred or even $1,000 a month for, depending on how much new revenue your AI agent generates for them. So let's get into it. If at any point you find value in this video, all I ask is you like and subscribe. If you don't have a GoHighLevel account yet, or you're not sure where to start, you can hop in my free school community. We got over 600 agency members in here now, plus multiple modules in here to help you get your first AI agency client in 30 days or less. No cold calls, no paid ads. You can message me in here anytime. It's all free. Plus you get a link for an extended 30-day free trial of HighLevel. All right, so let's dive in here. If you notice, the main login is quite different than it used to be. HighLevel's basically replaced much of the manual work in the platform with AI. You can literally just talk to the Ask AI assistant here and it will build out everything you could want, including voice AI agents. We're not going to use the AI to build the agent today because I want you to see step by step how to build this. And once you're comfortable with that, then you can use the AI here to build them. So once you log in, all you got to do is come down here to AI agents on the sidebar. This is kind of the new landing page HighLevel has now, talking about the different types of AI agents you can provide to your customers on the platform, some of the KPIs and revenue metrics associated with those agents. We are going to be focusing here on the voice AI agent. We're going to build this manually so you can see how it's done, and we're going to test it live. So come up here. We're not going to actually click this get started here because this will actually open the AI to build the AI, if that makes sense. We're just going to go ahead and click on voice AI up here at the top, and we're going to hit create agent. Now there's a marketplace of agents that are pre-built that you can choose from. A lot of them are free. We'll take a look at that real quick. You can organize them by category. You can dump these into your account and test them out, customize them as you see fit for lots of different industries. We're going to use that prompt library that I showed you earlier because I've already tested those and I know how they're going to work. So we hit create agent. We'll do create custom agent, hit continue. And now we have a brand new interface where pretty much all the settings are in one spot for inbound and outbound voice AI, which is absolutely insane. We can choose our voice up here. We can choose our model, GPT, Claude, Gemini. We're going to go with Claude 4.5 Sonnet. I feel like Claude just has better conversations. You come up to voices here. I have Jessica pre-selected, but there is literally hundreds of voices in here. There's 29 pages worth of voices. It's absolutely insane. These are 11 Labs voices. A lot of people have concern about the quality of high-level voices. You're going to see here that they've completely changed this, and it is about as natural sounding as you're going to get. You can organize by high quality only. We'll preview Jessica here so you can see what she'll sound like.
Hey, Worldly 11 Labs friends, let's talk. Let's have a conversation about anything. My name's Jessica, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you.
Now, that sounds literally about as good as you're going to get regarding being able to understand it and not sounding like a robot. But I want to address something now that's a huge sticking point for a lot of people. A lot of people get hell-bent over whether or not something sounds X amount like a human or whatever. We're at the bleeding edge here of it doesn't really matter. You heard that. You're not going to sound 1 or 2% better than that anyway. That is not what moves the needle. What moves the needle, you're going to see as we go into it, is the conversation flow, asking the right questions, giving the right answers, and giving people what they want and what they've called for as quickly as possible. A lot of people are hung up in an old school methodology thinking that voice AI is like the old press 1, press 2 PBX systems. That's not the case anymore, obviously. A lot of people say, oh, people don't want to talk to AI agents. They don't want to talk to robots. They want to talk to people. That is false. People do not call businesses to talk to people unless it's a 1-900 line and they're paying by the minute, if you know what I mean. People call businesses to get the things they want as fast as possible. It doesn't matter if it's a receptionist, a press 1, press 2 IVR system, or a vending machine. Nobody really cares how they get the thing they want. The vending machine doesn't talk to them and they get their candy bar, no problem. It doesn't matter. People want what they want as fast as possible, and it's the job of the voice AI to give that to them. If your full-time live receptionist has a bad day, if she's not trained on everything, she might not perform that well on the phone. If she can't remember something or inputs data incorrectly, there's a million things obviously that can go wrong with people. If your AI is trained the right way, your overall quality of outcomes with people that call in comparison to voicemail is exponentially higher. Without question, the data has now proved it time and time again. But you got to program it right. So let's move on. We'll save this voice. Jessica sounds just fine. We're going to completely delete this entire prompt that's in here. I'm going to blow this one away. I'm going to jump over to our prompt library, and we're going to go with a garage door service company today. Let's say we get a garage door client. Copy this whole thing, dump it back in here. Now, real quick, I'm not going to go through all this, but I want you to see that the main objective in here in conversation flow is that we're going to have essentially 4 phases: an opening, a discovery phase where we ask qualification questions to understand why they called. Then we reply in context, asking any additional required questions before moving on here. At phase 3, after we've talked to them and they understand that we understand their problems, then we gather their contact information. We do not open the call by saying, please give me your contact information. That's a moronic way to program a voice AI. You're going to get a lot of people hanging up on you. And then last thing here is call closeout. Very important that we leave people with a wow factor of, that was amazing. I feel comfortable enough not to call the next company. I know that there's a next step. So we're going to summarize the reason for their call. We're going to let them know that they're going to relay everything to the appropriate party or whatever the outcome of the call may be. Close out with an encouraging comment about the future outcome of their call getting resolved. So if they're calling to get new installation or repair, we're going to then future pace that person into what that outcome may be. This is how a good front desk person would be trained to handle inbound leads. Side note, I ran a call center. I trained agents. This is the kind of stuff you train real people on. Hence, this is what you train the AI on. 99% of people who program AI bots have never had an actual conversation with a person who's called a real business ever in their life. They have no idea how to program this stuff to actually talk to real people. This is why I have this prompt library put together. And lastly, before we jump back in, these prompts are adjustable. If you want to make changes specifically to a different industry or whatever, you can plop this whole thing into Claude or ChatGPT and ask it to make the changes you want. And then you can read through this and kind of manually adjust things as you see fit. For example, there may be a part where there's 5 or 6 people in the service department in the business, and you want the AI to say, hey, Jake's going to call you back at 2:00 tomorrow. We need to know that's the list of people in there, right? And that could be a service that you sell the company. So yeah, the agent's going to know literally who's there. So that way, again, maximizing the customer journey, the customer experience is most important. So we are handling it. We're booking the call, or we're telling the person exactly what the next steps are going to be and how they're going to be taken care of. All right, so we come back to our software here. We'll see you have inbound and outbound. We're going to be on the inbound side of things here today just for this test. We're going to change this intro to say this. Hi, you've reached Jessica, virtual assistant for Precision Garage Door. How can I help? Okay, so another tidbit here. A whole bunch of people get caught up on the idea, oh, how do we hide the fact that it's a virtual assistant or it's a robot? Maybe we should try and trick people into thinking it sounds like a human, that it's a real human. Got a real good suggestion for you. Don't try to trick people ever with anything in marketing. Just don't do it and you're going to be better off, right? So we're going to tell them right out the gate, hey, you've reached Jessica, virtual assistant for Precision Garage Door. How can I help? If the person out of the gate is hell-bent on wanting to talk to a live person, they can simply say, I want to talk to a live person. The agent's going to connect them with a live person. It's no big deal. But for 95% of the rest of the calls, most people are just going to say, I want help with this. And then we're going to move along. All right, so up here in actions, there is 1.5 million things that you can do with the AI. Because unlike using other platforms that are just individual workflow builders like N8N or Make.com, HighLevel has a massive infrastructure backend for all the types of CRM and automation features you need to run a business. So you can come in here and you can choose a whole bunch of things: call transfer, trigger workflow, send text message, update contact fields, book appointment, agent transfer, a lot of stuff. This trigger workflow is actually unlocks like 1 million other things out of the scope of this video, but it's all the automations a HighLevel can do on the back end with the information. All right, so for now, we're not going to choose anything in here. We're simply going to send a post-call email just for this test so you can see. But believe it or not, this is the easiest thing to sell on a mass scale. Don't overcomplicate this stuff. What I mean by that is having a simple summary of the conversation with what the outcomes are going to be for both the caller and the business owner is more than enough for 80% of the applications. If someone absolutely wants appointment booking built in, that's actually a high ticket service you can sell people because you're going to integrate with the calendar in HighLevel. You can sync it to their calendar if they're using a different platform. That's a couple $1,000s to build out. Absolutely, that's what that should be charged. Do not do that kind of work for free. But you're going to see here that this is very effective and this is very scalable. So you don't need to get stuck doing custom configurations for every single client. So we'll leave actions go for now. Now, knowledge base, this is where we can select the knowledge base for this agent. So that way it essentially has a brain. We can come right here, hit create new, and we can hit here, create knowledge base. Now, again, there is a create with AI option. This one's in beta. I still like to do some of these things the old school way. So I kind of have control and I know what's going on. Especially for a demo like this, I want this to be value added and not just show you, oh, look, the AI can just do it all, because then you don't really know what's going on in the background, right? So we'll name this knowledge base. We'll say Jessica's brain. I could spell Jessica, right? All right, Jessica's brain. We'll add that. Okay, so here we've got all kinds of stuff and ways that we can add information to the knowledge base. We've got a web crawler, which is what we're going to use, but you can manually add FAQs. You can add documents, rich text. You can add tables. You can upload files. A number of different file types are supported. You can really build this out to be like super knowledgeable with a lot of data. So let's go ahead and open the web crawler here. Now, literally, we just paste in the business owner's website and it's going to crawl the site and it's going to learn everything that it needs to know. And if the business doesn't have a website, guess what? You can sell them that. And I got videos on how to do that on my channel too, but that's outside the scope of this. So we're just going to find a garage door repair company nearby that we can steal. Supreme Garage Door Repair. Let's see what these guys got going on. Looks pretty fancy. Just for kicks, let's see if they have a chat widget on their website. They do not, which means they probably don't have an AI receptionist. So Supreme Garage Door, if you see this video, give me a shout. I'll sell you this for $500 a month. We're going to build it out for you. All right, so we copy the web address, we paste it in here, add website. All right, so now it's fetching pages, and boom, here it is, trained on their site. And right here we have all bunch of stuff that it has gathered from the website, and it's going to dump all of this into the knowledge base. That looks like all their service areas. All right, so that's all fine for now. Close that out. So now we can go back to our agent. We should probably change this from Precision Garage Door that I had in my template to Supreme Garage Door so we don't confuse the AI. Again, this is one of those scenarios where you could simply dump this whole thing into ChatGPT or Claude and say, update the company name everywhere in the prompt, and it will go ahead and do that. We'll change it here. All right, so hi, you've reached Jessica, virtual assistant for Supreme Garage Door. How can I help? Go ahead and do a quick refresh. Got Jessica's brain now showing up in the list. It says when to use this knowledge base. Use this knowledge base if the user has any questions about the business, services, products, contact details, or other relevant information that requires accessing the business wiki to provide accurate and up-to-date information. And we can quick name our agent here, Jessica. All right, so we got call settings here. Here's where we can choose the time zone, maximum call time, idle time, and reminder frequency. Basically, how long, if no one's talking, does it say, hey, are you still there? We can end the call after so many seconds of silence. We can determine how long we wait before speaking. Here's our agent behavior. Basically, here we can adjust the settings for the AI, how fast you want it to respond, what's the interruption sensitivity. If you start talking, how fast will it stop? There's a ton of stuff in here. Honestly, 99% of this, you're just going to leave it as default. Got translation, voice settings. Now, here you do have voice speed, how fast it talks. It can adapt to the person who called. If they're speaking really slow and they have a hard time hearing, you can have the AI slow down to match that person's cadence. Right here is dynamic voice speed. For all you N8N and Make.com guys trying to develop these voice AI agents on these other platforms, yeah, have fun trying to actually develop a true voice AI agent with all this stuff on one of those platforms. I know people say, oh, it's super cheap to have that. Yeah, it's super cheap because you don't get the stuff you actually need to develop the best product. So anyway, so here we have post call. Here's where we're just going to simply say, receive an email notification of post call completion. And we can fire off a workflow here if we have one preset that we want. So similar to what the settings were at the top here under actions, but just a little simplified. Here, I'm just going to put in my email. You can spam me if you want because I hardly check anything in that inbox anyway. Now these down here, these system prompts are internal prompts on how the AI handles things like connecting to the internal calendar, things like that. I would absolutely leave these as default because you're more than likely going to mess something up. If you want to customize the prompt, do it over here. This is the one you can play around with, and we're going to test right here in just a minute. Don't mess around too much with the system prompts unless you really need to do that and you have a very specific reason to do so. Down here is outbound settings. Outbound is outside the scope of this video. This is going to be on inbound, so we're going to leave that alone. We'll hit save. Now I'll show you the deploy here. We're going to do a test before we deploy, but when you're ready to go after you're done testing and you're happy with the performance, here's where you can assign a phone number. Now, a lot of people are going to ask, oh, does the business have to get a new phone number? No, the business does not have to get a new phone number. People ask this about 100 times a day on the forums and the high-level groups, and I show this in every single voice AI video I make. The way call forwarding works is called conditional call forwarding. The phone is going to ring to the normal business line, whoever's calling the business directly, or if they're calling through the Google LSA, which is what we're doing here, that phone number Google constantly rotates. Either way, it's going to come in, it's going to hit the regular business phone number. All you have to do is put in the dial code for whatever carrier they have, and there's pretty much a universal one here. You can enable conditional call forwarding, and that will let the phone ring to the normal line and then transfer it when the call is missed, meaning instead of it going to voicemail, that's when it's going to get transferred to the AI agent, which is exactly what you want. You still want to give a live person a chance to answer the phone. I'm not saying to replace people with AI. I'm saying replace poor customer experiences with AI, like landing in voicemail, which is what Google wants, and that's why I'm making this video. So we can assign a phone number here. You can buy a phone number right inside here. It literally doesn't matter what it is because it's being used internally and no one's going to really see it. I have a local number here and a toll-free number here that I use in this account. You hit add number, you can add a phone number. Right here, they're a couple dollars, literally $1.15 a month, right? These are not expensive to have. So once you pick a number, if you want to pick a local one, you can. You can filter it out here. What capabilities do you want the number to have? Typically, you want to have text message and voice. You want local, toll-free, right? Again, show me another platform that gives you all the things you truly need to build these agents out in the platform, because there's not a lot of them around. So once you have your number bought, said I already have one in here. This one's not assigned right now, so I can choose that. Hit save. Now call routing. This is important. This is enable AI agent as a backup to the phone number. So we're going to leave this off if you want your voice AI agent to answer immediately. In this case, we do want to leave this off because we want the AI to answer immediately. Because remember, we are forwarding to the business line after the business has a chance to answer. It's ringing for a bit on the regular business line. It's going to be transferred here. We don't want it to ring again here. We want it to answer here immediately. If you set your client up to use the mobile app for inbound calls and they're using a HighLevel number that they purchased as their primary number, then we want to leave this on so that way it has a chance to ring for a little bit on the mobile app on their cell phone for them to answer if they want to keep their personal cell phone number private. You have a lot of flexibility with this. You can set it up for them however they want. Then here you can set working hours. Ideally, we want the AI to answer 24 hours a day. If the call is missed, that's what Google looks for. So we're going to let it run all the time. So we can hit save here, jump back to build. Let's go ahead and test. Now here I'm going to do a web call so you can hear it. But if I called it with my cell phone, it's just the same. I've got a bunch of videos on my channel where I call with my cell phone.
Hi, you've reached Jessica, virtual assistant for Supreme Garage Door. How can I help?
Hey, Jessica. Yeah, I came home from work today and went to open my garage door from my car, and it didn't open. So I'm not really sure what's going on. We got to get someone else to take a look at it or what.
Oh man, that's frustrating, especially after a long day at work. Let me help you figure this out. So your garage door isn't responding to the remote at all, right? Just to narrow this down real quick, have you tried opening it using the wall button inside the garage, or are you not able to get in there right now?
My wife did try to open the door with the wall button, and she said it didn't work either.
Got it. Okay. So neither the remote nor the wall button is working? That's helpful to know. Real quick, do you hear anything at all when you press the button? Like any clicking, humming, or is it completely silent?
She didn't say she heard anything weird, so I'm assuming it didn't do anything or make any noise.
All right, that gives me a good picture. Sounds like it could be a power issue or something with the opener itself. Last quick thing. Is this something you need taken care of today? Or can it wait until tomorrow or the next day?
I mean, as soon as you guys can come out, it's not a huge emergency.
Perfect, that works. Okay, it sounds like your garage door isn't responding to either the remote or the wall button, and there's no noise at all. I'm going to relay this to the team so we can get a specialist out to your property. Is there anything else you'd like to go over before we look at getting someone out there?
No, that's all.
Awesome. All right, is the number you're calling from a good callback number for you?
Yeah, this works.
Perfect. And what's your first name?
Jared, Jarid.
Okay, Jared, did I get that right?
Yes.
Awesome, Jared. All right, I'll submit your info to the team, and you'll be hearing back from Mike, our service coordinator, within the next 1 to 2 business days. Thank you for reaching out today. I know our team will get your garage door working smoothly again. Have a great rest of your evening.
Thanks. Notice how it asked qualifying questions, it replied in context, told me who was going to call me back. Obviously, these things are customizable for whoever your client is. You can just change that information in the prompt. But now the business has my name, contact info, the reason why I called. Most importantly, an entire call summary and transcript of the entire call is sent to the business owner, email, SMS, so that way the technician or whoever knows exactly all the details, word for word, and Google now knows how the call was handled, the type of questions that were asked, and it will continue to maintain a high quality score for your client's LSA ads. Guys, I can't stress this enough. The consistency has to be there. And the only way to basically guarantee that is with some sort of AI system on the back end. And if you want to learn how to set up an automatic Google review system that takes care of the second most important item that Google looks at is their Google reviews and their star rating, go ahead, watch this video right here, and I'll see you on the inside.